Hey, you guys. All right. So I have a PSA for today, and that is to go get after it. And I have a little story to tell you on why that is even my message today. And hopefully it helps you to do the thing today, quite literally, today, that you know you need to do, that was on your plan, that is like step one of 1,000 to get to your final destination today, to do the thing that you know you want to do, that you know you need to do. But yet we have a lot of, either drama or self sabotage or all this background noise or whatever it is going around the back that tends to stop us from doing the new, uncomfortable, potentially uncomfortable thing today. So here we go. So I just got back from a walk, and I usually go for my walk, but to be honest, I was kind of like putting it off for like an hour or so. I felt ready to go, but I kind of looked outside and I was like, looks a little cold out there. It was cold this morning. It was 32 degrees, which is cold for me. So it was cold this morning. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to eat my lunch. I had another coaching call. I'm going to do that first before I go for my walk. And so that time came. And then, even then, I was still feeling just this little hesitation of almost like I wanted to be like, I wanted to just feed myself the excuses, or my brain wanted to just like offer up why I shouldn't go on the walk right now, that I should wait for I only had an hour, because then you have all this work that you could do now, and maybe you should hold off for that walk until after your next coaching call, right? Like it started to really go down that route of like offering me all the things of why I should not go for the walk right now. But I know myself. And this is my year of like intuition and really honoring the little nudges that we get throughout our day, throughout our life, that are something we need to listen to more, right? Like, do you ever have that where you're like, I literally felt I should go for a walk like the hour before this, and I didn't listen to it then. So I said, all right, you know what? I'm going to honor and listen to this nudge. I need to get out for my walk now. So I get on my jacket, or no, I get on my sweatshirt, and then I get on my jacket. And I was debating the hat, but I just got on my sweatshirt, I got on the hat, and I was preparing myself for it to be really cold outside, for it to be the same as it was this morning. Which, if just think about that for a second, like for most of us, like that is not literally what happens most days, right? It's really cold in the morning, and then generally in most places, it gets 10, 20 degrees warmer during the day, right? Especially if the sun comes out. So it just overall, the thought itself is kind of silly, right? That I would even think that. Like, what? And so I was believing, here's the thing I want you to hear and to catch for yourself. My brain instantly went for the garbage thoughts, for the worst case scenario. It instantly went towards the negative. It was like, it's going to be cold outside. It was cold. It was using past evidence too to support it's fighting for me to not go for the walk, or if I did, it was going to be really cold outside. So it was using the past evidence of this morning when it was 32 degrees to tell me to think, to have me thinking that it was still going to be really cold outside. I was also thinking of how last week I had some walks. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. It was basically pulling from the last couple of weeks when there was a week where it was really cold in the afternoons and windy, and like I still went out, but it was cold and a little uncomfortable. Like it wasn't my happiest walks. So my brain was just like pulling for the evidence to be like, it's going to be really cold out there and it's not going to be fun and it's going to be uncomfortable. So maybe you shouldn't go. That's exactly where my brain was going, right? But because I know better and I have the tools, I was like, all right, well, one, I was like, I can do uncomfortable things, right? Like if it's cold out, I put my jacket on, I put the sweatshirt on so I could walk in the cold prepared for it, right? So that's what I did. So I stepped outside the door and I started walking, and like quite instantly, actually, like as soon as I got off the porch, the sun was just like pouring in. It was just like, I felt the sun, I saw it, and I was like, oh, wow, like this is nice. Then I start walking And I'm like, holy crap. Like, it's pretty actually warm out here. Like, this is a gorgeous day. Like, this is pretty amazing. So I pull out my phone, or I have my phone, and I'm like, let me check the temperature. I was like getting warm. It is 65 degrees and sunny. And I am like roasting after I get like 4 blocks down the street. I have to stop and take off my sweatshirt and take off my jacket because I was that warm walking. So do y'all see what happened here? And I'm like laughing at this, right? Like, this is what our brains do. I don't care if it's my brain, if it's your brain, if it's your sister's. I don't care if it's the executive CEO, if it's a professional athlete. Everybody's brain does this. Only some of us have more tools than others and more other consistent habits that start to like knock off naturally, not think those thoughts. Or if those thoughts still come up, they still are like, you know what? Okay, so this is going to be really uncomfortable. We're going to do it anyway. And some of us have those tools to do that. But if you don't, and you are like, I need to get a workout in today. I want to get a workout in today. I want to eat healthy today. I want to do this one thing for my business to move forward. Like, you have to have the ability. I want you to take what just happened to me and see that. Your brain's going to go towards the negative, towards the worst case scenario. It's going to pull from past evidence to be like, wait, all the reasons why you shouldn't do this, why this is not going to be a good thing to do, versus us. Two things. One, looking at the best case scenario and finding evidence to support us doing the thing, right? And thinking thoughts automatically, like brushing those be like, hold on. And instead interrupting those negative thoughts and that BS pattern. And instead of being like, hold on a second, let me just get out of autopilot. Let me just get out of this routine or whatever my brain is actually offering me to look over here and see, okay, hold on a second. Here's some evidence. Let me look at the weather app on my phone before I even walk out the door, right? I could have done that and been like, holy crap, it's gorgeous. Instantly probably would have changed my attitude and outlook. And I would have been like, excuse me, I am ready to go for my walk, right? Best case scenario. I could have just also paused for a moment to think about, there's no way it's going to be 32 degrees outside. It's freaking, past 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It looks sunny out there. Most days it warms up 20 degrees. I bet it's going to be a gorgeous day. It's not what my brain said, right? We have to pause for a second and find the evidence and start to cultivate and think new thoughts. They're going to have us then being like, oh, heck yeah, I want to go out for my walk, right? So, or I could have stepped outside the door quite literally and just like popped my head outside, checked the mail, I don't know, something, right? Just popped outside for a second, 5 seconds, and been like, oh, it's freaking gorgeous outside. Or if it wasn't, it is cold out, let me put on a sweatshirt and jacket, right? Instead of using the past evidence to literally find the evidence now in the moment, right? So now what that could look like for you is, okay, and actually the second thing I was going to say is that, and this, so there's that part, finding the actual evidence to support what you want, thinking the new intentional thoughts that will support you and think best case scenario. And then also, you know what? Okay, this is also the real world. We can't just like snap our fingers and be like, it's the weather we want, right? Okay, it could have been cold out there. You know what? Freak. Maybe it's like colder than normal and or it looks nice, but it's windy as heck, right? That could be the case. One, I can still do uncomfortable things, right? I could find a way to make that walk more comfortable. So I could put on my sweatshirt, put on a jacket, put on a hat, put on mittens. I could bring my phone and headphones so I could either do some work or listen to a positive podcast while I'm walking. I could have my notes app open so I can take some notes. I could just do a 10-minute walk instead of a 30-minute walk. If it was that cold, I could do a 10-minute walk and then come inside, take a sip of hot coffee, and then go out again and make it like a fun game. right? Where I do 10-minute blocks instead of a full 30 because it's not gorgeous out if it was cold. You see? So there's two ways. Either way, both of those get the job done. You get doing the thing you want to do versus listening to the negative bullshit thoughts that are going to have you thinking worst case scenario, that some people might have heard that jibber jabber. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to walk today, and missed out on today. The thing that's going to keep me healthy, get me energized, and get me closer to my goals. And whatever that is for you, if you listen to that bag of garbage that all of our brains are going to offer, you will not do the thing, right? Or you have two options. Do the thing and make the uncomfortable thing more comfortable as best possible you can, okay? Or start to change your thoughts, look at best case scenario and find the evidence for what you want, right? For the best case scenario, okay? All right, so the way this could look for you guys, it's not just a walk, but is like for your workouts. If you are trying to get into a workout routine and you keep saying like I'll go after work, or I'm going to go in the morning, whatever it is, the time for you and the place for you, and you just keep skipping it. You keep like putting it off instead of doing the thing you want to do that will get you closer to the goals, your workout. So, what are the garbage thoughts? What are all those thoughts that you are having that are automatically starting to deny you from even wanting to go do the thing and being motivated and feeling good about doing it, let alone just going to do it? What are those thoughts coming up for you? If you're like, oh, it's too dark, it's too cold, I'm too tired, I deserve to sleep in. I'm trying to think of it. I'm exhausted. Like, what are those thoughts? And a lot of these are on repeat, y'all. A lot of these. Check yourself. What's the thing that you keep saying every single day? Or in general, where you're like, oh, well, today my partner's coming home and we want to have supper at 7. So I'll just have to skip and wait and do that workout tomorrow. Or my friends are coming into town and I'll just go ahead and do that. Like, what are all those thoughts coming up for you? Check yourself. And now look over to the other side and see, okay, like, is that reality? Because mine wasn't. Freaking 65 degrees and sunny outside. It was not 32 degrees and freezing. That's what my brain offered. What's the reality? Now check in and be like, am I actually tired? Or have I just been sitting on my ass all day? And I like, that's what I'm used to, is that come 5 o'clock, I'm quote unquote tired because I've worked a long day. Is that just the story you're telling yourself? What if you told yourself something else? What if you said, I'm done with work, I'm ready to go get energized, I'm ready to stand and move my body. Whew, I'm ready to reward myself with a workout. What if that was your story, right? Instead of listening to this. Check in. Same thing with your healthy eating, you guys. So what's the story? All the thoughts that you have why you can't eat healthy. You've got kids, you've got long days, everybody eats different. I don't know how to eat healthy. All of the things versus what's real? I do have the time, but I don't want to do it. I know some things to eat. I'm just kind of afraid to start, or afraid I'm going to mess it up, right? Or what are the best case scenario is you plan what you think you should eat, and you have that plan and idea, and you try and eat it that day. Like, versus, I don't know if this is the right thing, so maybe I just won't even eat it. It's probably not going to be good anyway. No, why don't you think these healthy meals are going to be even better than the junk I've been eating? These healthy meals are going to make my body feel so energized and so good. Healthy eating is so simple and quicker than going through the drive-thru. Woo, that one just felt like fire. What are those thoughts that you need to think about healthy eating instead of the bag of garbage over here that has you still eating like crap and not eating healthy? I deserve to have more wine tonight, or I deserve to have a drink after a long day, right? I deserve to have this food and eat out, and I'll start on Monday, right? Look and find the best case scenario and find the evidence to support the things you want to do and the thoughts you want to have. And you know what? Sometimes it may be uncomfortable too, right? But we can do uncomfortable things. All right. So if you don't like, let's just use the classic like grilled chicken and broccoli. If you're like, oh, gross, does not sound good. I hate broccoli. Okay. How could you, maybe you could add a little cheese to that, make that broccoli more appealing and tasty. I love some broccoli with some like pepper, salt and pepper, and Parmesan cheese. Like the good chunky kind of like Parmesan cheese, like the actual slices, not just like the little thin powder. Oh, so good. I could eat a whole bag, probably have, of steamed broccoli like that. And then the chicken, grilled chicken, okay, could you maybe add a sauce to it or put a sauce you really like, barbecue sauce, buffalo sauce, whatever it is that you could make with that, right? Or could you add some really flavored up brown rice that was made in some chicken broth and then put the meat in there and the veggies in there and then put a sauce on top? I don't know about you, but that just sounds like really good compared to just like chicken and broccoli and like plain brown rice, right? There are ways you can make the healthy eating more comfortable, even if you don't necessarily want to quote unquote eat that healthy way. There are ways to find it to make it still be good and something you can do, right? Okay, so I hope this was helpful. I got off on a little tangent there beyond what I was thinking, but I want you guys to see this. Catch yourselves in whatever the repeat thoughts are, the routine things, and just in general, like catch yourself when it's going to that worst case scenario and the negative things that would keep you exactly where you are today. And instead, start to find the best case scenario. Think the thoughts you know will get you closer to your goal and find evidence, ways to support what you want. Okay. And you can do uncomfortable things even if it is uncomfortable. Okay. All right. I love you guys. I hope this was helpful and I will see you again soon.